Well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Thank you very much. Eagle Mortgage has been around for 30 years, and it doesn't matter whether you're looking for a conventional FHA, VA loan. Yep, they do all of that, refinancing too. And believe it or not, a lot of people are still refinancing. Gosh, I took care of that thing a long time ago, but when I talk to Eagle Mortgage, they say, yeah, every day. We have people that come in and are still refinancing, taking advantage of these amazingly low interest rates that are still out there. And of course, if you want to buy a new house, they'll help you with that too. Hey, speaking of new houses, later in the show, we're going to bring on Jill Anderson from NP Dodge Residential Sales, kind of give us a little snapshot of what's going on in the market. Also later in the show, Patrick Sokol, Nebraska office leader for Turner Construction, will be joining us. But first, let's get into that news, Trenton.
Lots going on.
Oakview Mall has changed hands.
Yes, it has. And it's something that we reported on the first ever weekly Grow Omaha market report. Jeff put together a heck of a newsletter. And I got to tell everyone that was a big story there. Within an hour, John Chapman from Channel 6 called me, and we went on the air a couple days ago. And for the record, I did not sell it. And we report the news here, just like we have done for 17 years. A great story on Channel 6 if you haven't seen it. But that thing sold for $7.5 million, and it included the Longhorn Steakhouse, the Main Center Mall, and also the West Big Box Department Store, which is currently the Rush Market, and it was Yonkers, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the other three department stores are separately owned. And so it'll be very interesting to see how it transitions and see what happens with that area.
Yeah, and if you were to scrape a cornfield and build Oakview Mall from scratch, we're talking, $100-some million, $200-some million or something like that.
Absolutely.
So to sell for $7.5 million, interesting, not unexpected, given the situation and the current condition of enclosed malls.
The concern is, my guess is the best thing that could happen to it is that this group that has about 40 malls around the country, you can research them on your own. However, I think the best thing that could happen to it is that they flip it for more money, make a quick buck, and then someone that's a long-term player for the guts of Oakview Mall to come in and find permanent tenants. There's no question there's consternation with the current tenants and how much traffic is going to be in that area. Now, the Ring Road, there's been a lot of activity and a lot of transition on the users around the Ring Road.
Away from retail.
Yeah, away from retail. And the thing is, and as I said on the Channel 6 interview, is that area is solid. You got a lot of traffic. You got a lot of daytime population. You got a lot of nighttime population. And you got major developments going on a mile away at Heartwood Preserve. And it's just an obsolete product type, and that's the enclosed mall. But again, it's an expensive. It's probably about $7 million to tear that thing down. But then you have the other owners that you have to contend with. You have use restrictions, easements, covenants, and restrictions. You got physical plan issues. So I don't see it getting torn down just because the cost of it. It'd be cool if enclosed malls around the country, Jeff, were multi-purpose, like whether it would be a production facility for a major network or something, or a community college that could use the food court. They could put up apartments, hotels. There's so much parking there. They could have lab space. They could have large group spaces. There's so many things to do with it, but it's just such a big thing that most of those places would either go ground up or it's just not needed right now.
My thought is that in 25 years, mark this down, ladies and gentlemen, in 25 years, enclosed regional shopping malls will be the rage. They will be retro. They'll be so popular. Investors will be trying to find ones that survived the great purge and demolition of malls, and those that survive are going to be turned into these amazing places, and they're going to be so popular. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Crossroads is gone for something better. The South Roads still stands. West Roads, it seems like that should be.
Mall of the Bluffs is gone.
Mall of the Bluffs is gone. West Road seems like a mall that should last the duration. And if Oakview stays intact some way, mark my words, 25 years from now, there will be malls that will be the most cool retro place. They'll be so in style. And you'll hear people say things like, why were people so short-sighted to tear those down?
Yeah.
People back in the 2020s were so stupid. You know, we always talk about that. But
It's like
the
tearing
ones
down
that survive,
statues.
the ones that survive will be incredibly popular.
It might need a new roof then. The other thing that people need to understand is that a lot of these national tenants, you know, they thrive on traffic. Okay, so if an anchor goes out of a mall, the co-tenancy clauses in some of these leases kick in where the rent might cut in half, and that hurts the value of it. It hurts the tax base. It's a spiral effect.
Hey, really fast, Trenton mentioned the newsletter, the Grow Omaha Weekly Market Report. The inaugural issue came out on Thursday.
About 8:30 a.m.
We've got about 6,300 people on the list. Now, this was the very first one that was issued, of course, and we send this thing from a automated system. So that means a lot of them go into spam files. If you signed up for it, and
you didn't,
and many of you did, and you didn't get it, here's a couple things you can do. Number one, check your spam file from Thursday morning. The other thing is enter this email address into your address book, news@growomaha.com. Enter news@growomaha.com into your email address book or put it on your approved senders list. Then you shouldn't have trouble getting it in the beginning. And, of course, if you aren't signed up for it, just send an email to news@growomaha.com. So,
and if it is in your spam folder, I've learned this from necessity, is you find it in your spam and then you approve that email address. I think that works as well, doesn't it?
yeah, depending on the system, but all of those are ways to take care of that. And we definitely want all of you to get it because we put quite a bit into it.
Every Thursday you'll get one, ladies and gentlemen.
And we can't fit everything into the show. So, okay, quickly, founders of two successful tech companies have launched a new startup. It's called Workshop, and it has received about $3.5 million in seed money already. This new company, Workshop, sells a software product that facilitates communications inside companies. Interestingly, the founders are the people who founded Flywheel and Median, two previous very successful startups in Omaha, both of which have been sold to Texas companies and are doing pretty well. And then, Trenton, I want you to talk about this a little bit. Yesterday, you had the opportunity to tour that new building at Regency Landing that has been renovated. We're talking about Interstate 680 and Pacific Street.
Yeah, our friend Chris Nielsen gave me a tour of a really neat project. Access Commercial and Development are totally rejuvenating and changing up about 107th and Pacific Street to the north. There's an old gas station that's now vacant that is going to come down, and there'll be an entrance there that they can come down into the development. It's several acres. They're going to keep the two main brick buildings and totally update them, keep some of the tenants, get some new restaurants in there. They're going to have a pickleball place.
Early Bird?
Well, next to Early Bird.
Early Bird, yeah, okay.
Okay, and there'll be a couple restaurants there. They'll probably have some upscale hotel, and they can do a couple 100,000 square feet of office. This is right next to the Ethan Allen development. It was developed by some friends of mine and good clients whose father, Jack Moritz, developed that, and that's where the hotel was, the original hotel, and very visible from Interstate 680. So that'll be a neat development. It'll take a few years to get completed, but it'll be worth it.
And finally, a Lincoln-based company known as Spreetail tech company, which already has a pretty good presence in Omaha, near about 75th between Pacific and Center. They have an office there. They are going to add 200 new jobs in Omaha and take down another 35,000 square feet of office space. This was something I thought was interesting. The press release from the company says Spreetail will continue to hire and bring talent to Nebraska in 2021, estimating more than 50 families will relocate to Nebraska for those jobs this year. And then another interesting thing they said, it said many people associate Spreetail as a Lincoln-only based company, but it has an Omaha office that is expanding, as we said, with about 40% of its workforce living in Omaha and continuing to grow the Omaha workforce. It said Spreetail is growing the team in Omaha. And one of the things, this was the thing I wanted to say. It said Spreetail has attracted new residents to the Omaha-Lincoln region and hired 25 plus people that came to this region from Boston, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. So there's a good relocation to Nebraska news right there.
We love that because it reminds me of Hayneedle, which started out as hammocks.com. They had basically a category killer, and it was hammocks.com, and their tagline was accomplish nothing. So I thought that was classic. But that merged into several channels, several websites combined into one, and that's what Spreetail kind of sounds like to me.
Silicon Prairie, baby. And that is your development news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.